Welcome to Sacrifice. Look at my face. It ain't a very good looking face. I'm not handsome. I'm ugly. But look at it. Do I look like I'm smiling? Do I look like I'm happy? Does it look like I enjoyed myself? No. You see the title. Very disappointing. I'm very disappointed. Now, I'm sure there's going to be people thinking I'm just chewing out Impact because I want to chew them out. And I got to say this, and I'm going to make this. If anyone's seen my last Impact review, there was one comment from one of the, I believe he's my subscriber, Gettysburg. I believe that's his name. I've seen him there for years. He usually would joke around. He'll always have different points of view. And usually it's not always accurate. But it's his point of view, and I've never really chewed him out 100%. I would say you're wrong, but I at least explain myself why he's wrong. Every single time. I don't tell him he's a stupid fucking moron. And you know I'm telling the truth. I've always said you might have been wrong, but I always give you a reason why. The last comment you left on the last video, kind of a little bit of, pretty much sus, my friend, saying, you know, I haven't seen the product for the last couple of weeks. It was a perfect show. And almost wording word for word, the reason I hadn't been there, that's the reason why you've been called woke. My friend, I wouldn't suggest you call me woke in this situation. Because if you call me woke, even if you're joking with me, it's going to make you look dumb. And I'm not insulting you. I'm not. Because I'm not saying that this is going to be seen by more than 100 people. There's a good chance it may not be seen by 50. But I don't want you to say something like that and people look at the comments when they're commenting and chew your ass out. Because this show was disappointing. And just in case you were doing it on purpose, saying I'm a freaking woke, son, don't. If you're acting like this, remember WWE's waiting for you. They're waiting for their shill. I'm just joking. But if you meant it, that is just basic truth. If you're doing this to me, then that means you love WWE more. Even though you said you hated WWE. But anyway, guys, the matches were fine. In fact, one match there, I loved it. The match of the night for me personally. All the other matches were very good quality. Easily well above a Raw's quality of matches. There were botches amongst most of the matches, but the quality was easily above a Raw. Honestly. Even a SmackDown. Let's be honest. Many of them were on par with AEW. Easily. On Dynamite. Better than what happened on Rampage that passed. They had great matches. In-ring segments, when they did do it, were not bad. Backstage segments were not bad, but there were issues, and let's make this very clear before I even get started talking about it. You know what the issues were? If you didn't see them, I'm flashing them now. Images. Gettysburg, look at them. And anyone else, look at these images. I didn't just handpick these images. These are what was shown. These guys could not, as I said in my Impact review, I'm sure by now they're done. I said in my Impact review, someone must be new there. And someone there who was new had to say, damn, we got a bad venue here. The lighting's not good. Why don't we zoom in like this most of the time to compensate for the lighting? Or, better yet, they just think we need to improve our production of our camera. Tell the cameraman to zoom in, and I will be the one who's switching the camera, who switched it like crap. The camera work switching was crap. The interviews in the back, there was Jay White's interview. Here it is. I believe I got a shot of it. Look how freaking dim it is. And then the audio sounded like it was muffled, not just for Jay White, but also Tasha Steele's audio was muffled. What was going on? It was terrible. Now, I'm going to move on to the actual matches. Now, when it came to the kickoff show, we had two matches. The first match, which I knew would be 50-50 booking, would be Shaw versus Lady Frost. And guess what? She won. What did I say? You got Gazelle or Chanel. Janelle. I believe her name is Janelle or Chanel. I can't remember her right yet. I haven't seen enough of her. She needed a win on her debut on the Impact Zone. Lady Frost has been working on BTI. She's now appearing on Impact for the first time, the main show, Impact, the Impact Zone. She needed a win. Why couldn't you get a jobber for them both? No. You gave them this. We're 1-1 one week, 1-1 another week. Bullshit. Neither one of them had the job yet. Deonna Purrazzo didn't need this. Yes, she did beat Lady Frost. Yes, she did. But the point is, you want to build these women up for Deonna Purrazzo. She's got 2 damn titles. She needs fresh meat. She needs women that you can trust. This is bullshit. Next, Willie and Rick versus OGK. It was a fine match. And Willie and Rich won. Kind of going with Impact lost last week, and Way won a week again, and now another members won again. And they're just trying to even it out. I don't agree with it. You could still have one side win over the other more often. I'm just saying. Now, first match. X Division title match. Trey versus Jake something. It was a good match. Jake looked good. But here's the thing. It wasn't time for him to win. That they've been hot and cold with him for a while. He needed to win. He needs the X Division title. Trey does not. For the simple reason, and I like Trey. I do. But Trey doesn't need the title now. He's had it long enough that he didn't need to be defined by it. He needed a win to go with the arc that they built for him when he came back after the Rascals were gone, when he proved that he was different, that he had progressed. The match between him and Austin, when you see the feud between him and Ace Austin counting on his mom, that really set him off in a direction that was good for him. And it had to culminate eventually with him winning the X Division title, which he did. He could have dropped the title and Jake something could be transitional or maybe last a couple of months. He deserves it. He deserved it. Now, mind you, yes, you're going to say he hasn't had it long enough. But at this point, even if he dropped it sooner than he should, it wouldn't hurt him. He'd earned it. Now he won it. But then what do you do with Jake something now? You're going to throw him into the main title picture? He's already been there. He needed a win here. He needed the X Division. Yes, he's too big for it, but still, he needed it. I'm just saying. Moving on. Now, we had Eddie Edwards versus Rhino. When you have the Honor No More one side, then you have Team Impact. You know why, Botch? I believe I got a shot of Eddie by himself. I don't think I do, but if I do, I'll put it in my face. Look at him. Look at Eddie Edwards. What is different on Eddie? Nothing. Nothing's different other than the color of his clothes. Red. Kind of matching with ROH. And here's the problem. Eddie did not change his style. He's still a hardcore wrestler. And he needed something to set him differently. Look, no one's saying anything against Eddie's ring work. He does great ring work. He also, to a certain extent, could play an okay heel. But to go with that, he needed more. I would rather have seen Chris Sabin be the one to turn against Impact than Eddie Edwards. Because Chris Sabin had been there even longer than Eddie. Had been known and defined by Eddie because of Alex Shelley, who was also there, and I'll talk about it in a minute. But literally, having Eddie as the heart of Impact is not 100% is helping because he's not giving enough. He needed to be really different. The only thing he did was just change the color of his clothes. He needed to change his clothes. He needed to come out in regular clothes or in a suit or something to show that he is really committed to Honor No More. Just wrestling is not enough. It's not. In this situation, we need to see something different. Now, what happened with Eddie? Did he win? Yes, he did. Because he used, well, what was it again? He was beating Rhino. Then Macklin comes out because Eddie was about to use a kendo stick. He stops him. He hits him with a kendo stick. He beats his ass. But then, guess what? Macklin turns on Rhino, screws him over, and then Eddie wins. Now you're going to have Rhino dealing with Macklin. If it's going to be like this, then it should have been Macklin who's going to turn. And even though they said, well, Macklin is for Macklin. In this situation, no. Macklin shouldn't be for Macklin. Either Macklin's going to be for Impact, or Macklin's going to be for Honor No More. Because he's been involved in it. I'm not saying for him to be a good guy. I'm not. He could still be a bad guy. But in this situation, it made no sense for him to attack a Rhino just because he didn't feel comfortable about it. Him coming out and nailing Rhino was beyond stupid because they're still dealing with Honor No More. I'm just saying. Third match. The Knockouts Tag match, which was supposed to happen at the last Impact Plus show, but could not due to following the order of COVID-19. You cannot wrestle if you test. Inspiration could do anything because they tested positive, so they had to wait until now. This is where it gets very, 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 what are we dealing with? Because was it about the Inspiration losing the title? No. Was this about the Influence winning the title? No. Who is it for? Who is this about? What are they focusing on? I believe I got a shot of him. He's in my face. And that is Caleb with a K. This is all about Caleb. Let me say that again. This is about Caleb. Caleb Connery, or Caleb with a K. This is all about him. And I'm like, really? Where everyone is so enthusiastic about the Inspiration. Look, guys, during the match, and I gotta say this, the Louisville, Kentucky crowd was good throughout the entire night. They cheered for the ones they liked. They booed the ones they liked. They did like 50-50 for most of the night, but they cheered the ones they really liked. They booed the ones they really hated. And this really, really did help the show a lot for me personally, even if you couldn't see what was going on in the ring much, due to the fact they kept going like this. And shooting a lot of ass. I'm not going to lie. Look, I love me some ass on a woman. I do. But as a wrestling reviewer, I care about seeing the content and hoping I can be able to give a good perception of what you haven't seen or what you have from a different perspective. Seeing women's asses a lot, and a lot of this for the women's cleavage, will make most people happy. Men and women alike, tits and ass. But not during a match when it's supposed to be that important. And the camera work is so crappy that most of the time, you got this. And then they realize they're screwed up. And they got to try and fix it. And then you miss it because when they do this, they're like this, out of the frame. It was that damn bad. Now, Inspiration won. No. You see I'm angry. The Influence won. Due to the fact Caleb threw a title into the ring, and it was Tennille, I believe, who nailed in the face, and I do believe it was Jessie. And I gotta say this, Jessie did do most of the match in the very beginning, which she normally does not. She usually would do the end of the match. This time she did the beginning, and just in case someone thinks I'm being truly hateful to the Inspiration, no, I rate you for how you work. Who is the better wrestler between the two? Cass is better. Cassie is a better wrestler than Jessica. There's no lie about it. It is obvious. But in this situation, she did do the beginning of the match. She did work most of the match halfway through. And out of that 50% of the match, she did, maybe 60 to 70% okay. She's still not a great wrestler. She isn't. But it doesn't mean she still can't do what's necessary in the ring. As I've always said, she's not a horrid wrestler, unlike JD or just Alex. They can't stand them. But at least I rate them for how they perform in the ring. I know she did, out of a 100% of that 50% of the match she did nearly 70% good. There's nothing wrong with that. Most people say that's crap. No, not every wrestler can do 100% great. Most wrestlers will be doing 70, 80, or 90%. Yes, that's reverse. I did it anyway. Kiss it. But you get my point. Let's move on. The match I loved the best. Jonah versus PCO. I did not. The match was hard to watch because they didn't keep the picture wide enough. Because most of the time, they kept trying to do tight shots to the chest and the head of both PCO as well as Jonah. That is a big problem. You got two guys, one is maybe 270 near 300, another one's over 330, 340. Why in the blue fuck would you zoom in this tight to their head and their chest? Why? It was ridiculously bad. But when you could see the match, seeing that PCO would not job to Jonah. Jonah refused to job to PCO. It was very good. At one point, I think when PCO did that jump off the top turnbuckle and lands his back onto Jonah's chest and head, he might have driven his skull a little bit into the mat that's on the floor. Because when he landed, he did a good roll, and it looked like he took a hard hit to the head a little bit. Not big, but enough. Then you got Jonah nailing him, grabbing him, doing a tombstone onto the ring steps, and then he grabs him again, and then basically power bombs him off the top of the first step of the ring step. That was at least 5 to 6 feet in the air, and he lands and the back of his head bounces off the mat that's on the floor. I don't care what anyone says. You got to understand, we got concrete covering a mat to stick. Look at my fingers. You see this? They're not very thick, maybe 2 or 3 inches easily. A mat that gives a little bit, but we're still talking about a solid floor, and his head, boom. I don't care who or what you are, that is going to hurt. And he looked totally staggered. And then when Jonah dragged him, threw him back into the ring, and then decided to do a splash onto his head, where his belly hit his head, because it did, even though the ring will flex. Remember, that's not like the rings back in the 80s when it barely moves. Now there's a very good spring that gives you a little bit of give so you don't get hurt. That's still gonna, you're gonna feel it. So in the end, Jonah wins, flat out. PCO is nailed. He's screwed. They try to check on him. He doesn't want any help. And Jonah makes it very clear, don't go near him because he's finished. I finished him. Now, I truly loved that match, even though it was hard to watch it because of the camera work. PCO and Jonah got some damn good chemistry. And seeing PCO lose like this and giving such a great effort. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say that was just too much false finishes. Yes, it's understandable. But these are two super heavyweights that are actually pretty agile in the ring. PCO, I think he's in his early to mid 50s. He's my age and possibly older than me. Is still active enough to be able to work a match like that. Jonah, yes, at 330, he isn't like he's super fast, but he is agile to look the part of the dog in his yard. He just has it. You could see it. It looked good. I'm just saying. Now, next one. Alex Shelly versus Jay White. Here's a problem. Anybody's going to say that was an instant classic. And that's what they stated it during the show. And at the end, when it was over and they were all clapping, which didn't have a lot of claps, they said it was an instant classic. I'll say this. Could it have been close to an instant classic? Hell yeah, it could. That was a damn good match when you could see it. When you could see it at home. Because remember, we're not talking about people at the arena who could see everything. We're talking about people like myself who is home, who had to see it most of the time like this, or going like that. Or they go like this, and they go out of frame because they got too damn close with the camera and they missed the moves. It was a damn good match. But you know what the biggest flaw of it was? Not the camera work. It was the build up. You want to know how bad it was? Guess what? There was no build up. Because there was no story. When they could have brought Alex Shelley in weeks ago and inserted something in Impact Wrestling. Remember, guys, as someone who does editing, who's not perfect at it, I know when I have a video and it's saved, like for my Gump reports, I could save a video for almost a week before I used to release it. I haven't done them like that in a while because I tried to do that. And then when news comes in, it makes it hard to fit it in because then I have to extend it. In other words, if something brand new comes and the video is supposed to be released on that day, I have to release the something breaking news and then wait a couple of days or a week later in the chain. So it gets a little hectic. But it doesn't mean I don't know how to take that video, take it and put it into my software, and guess what? I can insert something. I can insert an extra thing if I thought. Now, I don't do that, but it doesn't mean I haven't learned how to do that. And that's what they could have done with a Jay White and Alex Shelley. Added an extra segment that they both filmed ahead of time when, well, not ahead of time. When they realized that Alex Shelley is available, he wanted to come to Impact just to work, they could have inserted this little bit in the next couple of weeks. Even if they couldn't show them, at least they could have had some vignettes for them. That would have helped. Here, it felt empty. Seeing Alex Shelley back in the Motor City Machine, one of the few songs I love in Impact. Next to Jonah's song, I like that song. I really do like it. Next to Moose, Motor City Machine Gun's music, I love that song. It is a damn good song. And hearing it, I should be happy. But there's no build-up for him. None. And that's what pissed me off about this. It wasn't that the match quality was bad. It wasn't. This is not about the match quality. This is about production. I'm just saying. The Champ Challenge. What? Why? 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 Here's the problem. It makes sense for Chelsea Green to get a shot at one of the titles. Yes. But you could have done that on a regular Impact show. Now, I know people can say, well, they're doing an Impact Plus. True, but that doesn't mean they won't also do it in an Impact show. So she could have had that shot later. Wouldn't it have been great to bring someone in to do that shot that we weren't expecting? Like an Athena, like a Taya Valkyrie, like a Mia Yim if she's available, counting if her contract is cleaned and finished and she could wrestle. Somebody different. No, they use Chelsea Green. Now, mind you, I don't hate Chelsea. I love me some Chelsea. But I truly believe that could have been saved for another time. She could have earned a right because she's gone up against Deonna Purrazzo before. She has. So I would have waited until Rebellion to do this. Try to build up a Chelsea Green to do a Rebellion style match where instead of her just getting a Champ Challenge, she says, I want to earn my right to challenge you. Instead of just going for it, I want to go through everybody in the roster, like Lacey Evans, well, not Lacey, Sienna Evans. If Tasha Steele hadn't won the championship, which I will talk about in a minute, you could have done anyone else if there's any other women, because we haven't seen that many women. We haven't seen anybody from Decay. We have not seen Alicia. We have not seen Kimberly or the others. We haven't seen nobody except for those women, counting if they're the only ones left. I'm just saying. Now, when the match was done, and I will say this, once Deonna messed with Chelsea's arm and wrist, she had to tap. She was done. She was screaming. And admittedly, at one point, it was kind of surprising that once Chelsea got her arm snapped the way it did, like that, by Deonna Purrazzo, Deonna acted concerned. She actually acted concerned for Chelsea. But Chelsea shoved her away, and that's when Deonna pretty much got pissed at her and then put her into the Cinco de Mayo and ended it. But then, after that's done, and she left the ring, and that is a Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea was still there. Then Mickie James comes out. Then Sienna Evans comes out. Then I am so angry about this match because I think they booked it wrong. Truly. When you see the match and Chelsea Green doesn't leave, that is Mickey's excuse for losing the title. I can understand. I can understand it. But the kicker here was how much Sienna Evans was used to distract Mickie James. That was damn stupid. I can understand at first Chelsea being there and she was a distraction within the first couple of minutes, maybe 2, 3, or even maximum 4 minutes. But she stayed there for so long. And then Sienna Evans, I'm about to say Lacey Evans, Sienna Evans starts messing with her. And then you see a Mickie trying to stop her. And after that, when she's finally taken away, you would think, fine. Let Tasha earn this win. Let her earn it. Send Sienna Evans in the back. Because she's already interfered twice and the ref didn't do a damn thing. She should have been sent to the back and let Tasha win the damn match clean. She needed it. She earned it. No. Sienna Evans interfered multiple times and then finally she won. And Afro-Latino or Afro-Rican, fuck you. Understand. I'm just like her. Understand. With Tasha Steelz, I'm pissed off because that should have been a special win. She shouldn't have had to win in that faction. I am half black. Mixed black. My mother was mixed. My biological father was Puerto Rican. Light-skinned like this. My mother was actually light-skinned as well. Both of them were light-skinned, so a light-skinned kid came out. But I am black Puerto Rican. No better than her ass. And I cannot believe that if there was a way for her to change this where she earned it, she should have fought for it. Because supposedly, as the first Afro-Rican who won a Knockouts title, it feels like freaking nothing because she had to literally cheat her ass off. And Sienna Evans had to literally do majority of the work for her. It's stupid. It pisses my ass to no end that Tasha Steelz, who earned her badassery, working with Mercedes Martinez, working with Rosemary, with Havoc, she worked. Yes, she was still a heel during the time when she was working with Kiera Hogan. But it didn't mean that she didn't put in the ring work. She actually improved her style. And by the time of that first match, she was ready for it. But they thought, no. All right. But as I said before, she should have won it when they had the match before. But now, here, she couldn't even win it clean. You couldn't even let her win it clean. That she had to have help. Bullshit. I'm just saying. Now, Violence by Design versus the Good Brothers for the titles of Impact Wrestling. The tag titles that should have gone to the Bullet Club. Here's an example. Last year, Hikuleo and El Phantasmo were part of Bullet Club. We haven't seen them. Either they're not there now, or they're there, but they're in the back and they were not shown since the Good Brothers and Jay White have come into the picture. There should be the Good Brothers, Hikuleo, El Phantasmo, Chris Bay, as well as Jay White. All of them should be there. But if Hikuleo's not there and El Phantasmo, there you go. They should have had it last year. They should have had it last year, but they didn't. So now you go forward this year. Right here. And the kicker for this, counting on if God wasn't staying, which we don't even know if they're staying, they're probably gone, there should have been another team to get the titles instead of Violence by Design. But that counts if there's any other teams. So guess what? Violence by Design won it. That means there are no teams. So you drop the titles by Violence by Design, gave them to the Good Brothers who had a long run with them, and then you drop them right back to them again. And Violence by Design has basically been drifting for months since they had to drop them. So now to get them back, the question is, what are they going to do with Violence by Design? Are they going to do anything with them? Are they going to give them a prominent storyline or not? Or are they just going to have matches and do nothing? I'm hoping they will get something, but I don't know. You guys tell me below. Now, final match. If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. Heath versus Moose. Now, supposedly, Anthony Morelli, formerly Santino Morello, I believe that's Santino. He's in my face if I got a shot of him. He was there. He went on commentary. I don't know if he's a partner now in commentary. Maybe he is. If he is, it'll be interesting because he does give an interesting dynamic during the match. He was very enthusiastic, very energy driven. He sounded good. I don't know if he is going to be working in commentary from now on. I hope he is, but you guys tell me below if you wish to keep hearing him or not. But was the match good? When you could see it, it wasn't bad. As I told you guys, you only got what you got. You're going to have to push mid-carders or undercarders to see if they'll get anywhere. Remember, before people knew EC3 was great, he had to be pushed. WWE didn't think he was anything. Then Impact Wrestling took him in and gave him a shot to try. They gave him a good gimmick and gave him a shot, and he ran with it. Now, we got Heath. Do I believe he is a main eventer? No. I never said he was. But I did say you got to try and put him in the main event to see if he'll sink or swim. You have no choice because you got nobody you can do anything with. So this is what you get. You got a mid to upper mid-carder in the main event. And he did a good job. It doesn't mean he did a great job. He did a good job. And I didn't have a problem with him coming so close to winning against Moose. But I knew he wasn't going to beat Moose. Because sooner or later he has to face Josh. And look what happened. Josh came back. He had 2 contracts. First one is for a multi-year deal with Impact Wrestling. Due to the fact when he got sent home, he lived so close to Anthem, he went over there, spoke to them and said, I want a better deal and I want a match against Moose. So they gave him a better deal, multi-year contract, and now they gave him a title opportunity about the botch. At Rebellion, not No Surrender. Rebellion. I'm thinking of No Surrender because it was a damn better show than this because the camera work made it feel important. This show pissed me off to no end because of production. I don't know how many Focus. We know they do tapings in batches. This show was taped. We know it was taped. No, not this show particular. I mean Impact Plus. I mean, we know Impact is taped. We know they do 3, 4, maybe 5 batches for a whole month. The question is going to be, whoever's running production, how many tapings did they do? Because this is bad. As I keep telling people who do not understand the situation we're in. This is not about the crowd at the venue or arena. This is about the people like ourselves who is watching this video, who are home, who either live somewhere different part of the world or because of the pandemic can't just go anywhere still because we are still locked in it. Even though not every state is locked down, we're still stuck. And they need to understand streaming services are very popular now. It's the wave. And instead of understanding, instead of doing like this, you need to do it like this. Let them see everything in the arena, even if you got a sparse crowd. If you do not remember that a large part of your revenue is coming from people who are at home, you must give them what they paid for. Let them see what's in the damn ring, or you're going to end up what happened with GCW in their pay-per-view, Hog in their pay-per-view. Because look what happened. Impact had a bad Impact show on Thursday, and now this Saturday they have this show with the same people running production who did this. And this. And this. And this. Sorry to make you sick, but you get my point. And if anyone thinks I am just bashing Impact for Impact, go watch it for yourself and see how many times they zoomed in on somebody's face, and then when they're going to run, you don't even have anything in the frame. Because that is how it went. But this is just my point of view. And I hope you enjoyed this Sacrifice 2022. Please leave me a comment below. I will be seeing Revolution tomorrow. Hope you enjoy it. Peace.